Ciao ragazzi, this is a special edition of Serie Sitdown. Frank Crivello along with Richard Carmen. Ciao, Richard.
Ciao, Frank. How we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We've got a special interview, and over the past couple of years, we've been fortunate to spotlight a number of clubs that are in Serie A. We've obviously had guests to cover all of the big clubs. We've had Udinese, we've had Parma, we've had we've gone down the list. But now we're reaching out to a couple of guests here to talk about Lecce. And we want to welcome our special guests here, Will and Dom. Ciao, gentlemen.
Ciao. Thank you for having us.
Oh, no problem. I wish we were speaking on better terms. I think Richard and I were both pulling for your team so that this could be a happier interview than what it will be. But nonetheless, here we are. It's great to have you guys on. Like I said, great to talk about Lecce. And why don't we start with you guys? I'm just going to give you the floor. Talk about how this passion for this club started for you guys.
Well, really, it was by a complete chance, by accident. Probably 13 or 14 years ago, my cousin and I were just chilling, playing maybe PlayStation 2 at that point, and we didn't know what team to be. He's a Watford fan, and I'm Arsenal, and we just scrolled through some of the leagues and just picked a team that neither of us had heard of, but we went for a team with a good kit, and here we are 15 years later with that same kit on, because we just started following them in real life. And at the time they were in Serie, and then they've stuck around, and I've dragged other people down with me to support them as well. So we've got quite a significant actually fan base here in London, which I know the people from Lecce would have had no clue about. They're probably more aware of us now, but there's quite a few of us, and there's some Lecce residents that have settled in London that we're good friends with as well, and just we've been accepted as non-Italians, non-speaking Italians, just two East London guys. We've been accepted by the Lecce family. It's become part of our everyday life. Really, we've made some lifelong friends through it. So we're very, very blessed.
That's awesome.
Whatever division we're in, we're very lucky where we are right now. So
that's excellent. That's great to hear. I'm sure that through playing, whether it's Football Manager, FIFA, I'm not sure what the video games are that you're playing. I'm sure many Champions League wins in that dynasty mode in fantasy as Lecce, and you got a team where you somehow manage to put together guys like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. I don't know if that's possible.
There's ways around that,
Yeah, we'd appreciate Cristiano in our current situation in real life now. We had a disappointing game today. We're both disappointed, but we're trying to put on a brave face for you guys and for the fans listening. But we're under no illusions that we're in a fight now. We've still got a puncher's chance. It's a heavyweight slugfest. We can pick up surprise results like we have against, like we were saying before, some of the bigger teams have found it a struggle for us. Yeah. No one expects us to beat Lazio for sure. If we can nick 2-3 wins out the next 4 games, you never know. With some luck from the rest of the league, if they beat Genoa, you never know. But yeah, this is sad. It's a sad day. Sad day for us, but we still have to believe.
A real opportunity today. For those that we're recording this just shortly after Lecce were beaten by Genoa 2-1. Opening goal from Antonio Sanabria in the 7th minute. A unfortunate penalty miss by Marco Mancosu just before halftime, but Mancosu would make amends, scoring in the 60th minute before just a very unfortunate own goal on Gabriel. And if there's anybody that doesn't deserve to have that happen to him, it's Gabriel, with the season that he's had and the saves that he's made. I mean, let's start with him. We'll start from the back, and in terms of talking about this current team, Gabriel. If we didn't have goalkeepers like Handanovic, who's been obviously excellent at Inter, and Donnarumma, who's been very good at Milan this season, Szczesny, I think more is expected of him. than what you're getting. But then you also have some other good goalkeepers in this league. Strakosha. I mean, Brescia lately has clearly felt the effects of not having Jordan in goal and getting absolutely torched. But I think a big reason why Lecce is in this fight to begin with for survival is the goalkeeper, Gabriel, and some of the saves he's made. Talk about what he's meant to you guys this season.
Well, I think as well, if you look at that Lazio game where we beat Lazio,
yep.
I mean, we were talking about it when we were watching it, saying, Gabriel kind of he kicked the ball out, and and his distribution can be really poor at times. But then you look at it and you see the flip side of it. In that game, he pulled off some amazing saves, and saves that kept us in the game and helped us win. And I remember I watched this is before lockdown and everything, the Brescia game, and he did an awful mistake in that one. And I kind of remember saying to Will, I was like, I'm not sure about this guy. Like, it's kind of, if we're going to be in a fight, looking like in a relegation battle, to have a keeper like that. But then you see the saves that he does put up, and especially those sort of, ones where it would have gone in if it been like a different day, but he just seems to be able to just get down low and get rid of it. And I just think I do think he's won us games by being in goal. You talk about we were saying earlier before this, like we've conceded the most goals in the league, but if we didn't have him in goal, it'd be a lot more for sure.
You probably conceded the most shots as well, so he's really done an amazing job. I know that. I know Frank and I are very familiar with him. He being a former Milan player. Dom, I know that you there's some link with Milan there with you. First, tell us about that, and then secondly, how familiar were you guys with Gabriel prior to the season?
So, like, I came to Lecce through Will, so we worked together. We were working in a school at the time, and Will was actually, I think they were in Serie B at the time.
Yeah.
And you were kind of talking about, I think it was going through the playoffs and how you were going, and you explained it to me. And I was always someone that I loved Italian football from a child. I loved, the greats. You talk about Maldini just to start off with, and Nesta and all of these. As a defender, you just kind of. I remember once I played football and someone said, "Oh, you played like Maldini today." And it was like the best compliment I've ever had. So at work, and I meet Will, and it's kind of like wow. So I kind of slowly became interested in Lecce. But at the time, one of my closest friends is Italian. He was living in my house, and he's a Milan fan. So I just started following Milan, and also. We were friends with this Italian family around the corner from me, and they were Juve fans, and I just hated it. I just started supporting Milan. So, and then it kind of continued from there. And funny enough, you say about Gabriel, my friend, when we signed him, my friend who's a Milan fan, I messaged him about it, and he actually said to me, he said he's a great keeper, he's a good shot stopper. But he's a bit crazy sometimes. He does a few erratic things and comes running out or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of, when I told Will this, we thought to ourselves like, what? At least if he's a good shot stopper, that's the important stuff. And I think he can do erratic things. I think we've seen that this season. There has been odd times here and there. But I think, like I was saying before, he's shot stopping, and and even sometimes when we have played, I mean, what was it? The Napoli game. Where we beat them 3-2, yeah. One of the guys, it started from him.
Yeah.
Every player had a touch of the ball, didn't they? So
it's like PlayStation.
Yeah. So you think he is a good keeper on the ball, and you look at now, and everyone's playing out from the back, and it's cost us this season for sure. That kind of tactic, but we've kept with it, and it sometimes has paid off. And I think to have a keeper that can distribute well, I think is very important.
I think it's hard to look good as a goalkeeper in a team that's in a relegation fight and that concedes, like you said, silly chances. The defense doesn't help him whatsoever. So it's almost like we had a similar situation in England when Jordan Pickford was at Sunderland.
Yeah.
And they were just getting hammered every weekend. But Jordan Pickford earned himself a £30 million transfer out of it because he was looking good in a team that was getting spanked. So maybe Gabriel could earn himself a spot at a bigger team, or if we go down, whether he stays or not, I don't know. But yeah, we owe him a lot. But yeah, we've definitely kept him busy, or his defense has kept him busy.
Frank and I have always talked about how we always watch these teams that do get a lot of shots against them because you do get to see the real goalkeepers. Gabriel, we saw Skorupski in the past. Who do we see last year? I mean, there's a lot of guys that we've seen, get a lot of shots against them, and then you can see that they made some quality saves. They just, they're facing 20 shots a game, so it's hard. Sepe, yeah, Sepe is another one. So we've seen this a lot. We've noticed this with Gabriel. He's been like one of the best players on that team, and a lot of results, positive results, were because of him for sure, Frank.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure. Agreed. And moving a little further up the pitch, when you look at this setup under Liverani, a couple of players that for me have been obviously very vital to you guys, in terms of your survival chances. Marco Mancosu, the captain, and then I think also another guy that I have a lot of interest in and that I rate is Falco. Talk about what they've meant this season, and talk about I don't want to suggest that this is going to happen. There's still a few games left, and anything can happen, but if the inevitable comes, these are guys that may not have a hard time finding work in Serie A if Lecce doesn't stay up. So, talk about how important they've been this season, and then, the challenge that you might face in keeping them.
Well, I mean, Marco Mancosu and Falco came up with us. Were both instrumental last year. Falco, annoyingly, has been unable to get a run of games consistently this season, and we've looked a lot better with him in the team. But if you're only getting 40% out of him, or you're getting maybe 6 in 10 games from him, you need your best players at all times. Mancosu as well. I don't know. Penalties, yeah. Well, up until the last couple, yeah. He's ice cold from the spot. Sometimes I don't think he influences the game moving through the midfield. Sometimes I think you see Lecce in if you watch him in highlight form, you think, oh, Mancosu's on fire. But he's Mr. Lecce. He came up with us. He was our captain. I think he'd be one that would potentially stay if and when we went down. Falco, no, though. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, also we've got a very soft spot for Falco because he came over to London, so the
I saw that picture. I saw that picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I remember we even speaking about it. We kind of, before all this lockdown and everything like that, when the Euros was going to happen, we were kind of saying that Falco, there could be a chance if he did get a run of games that he could have a little, last little spot on that plane for Italy, because I think his kind of creativity and I think him and Saponara, when them two are, distributing and getting those balls played across that box and everywhere, and I think that link up play that they have worked really well. But again, I think Falco he hasn't had that consistency of run of games. He came off injured the other week, and then he's kind of on the bench today, and it's just kind of, I think if he had a real run and just kept himself fit, then. But I think we'd struggle to hang on to him if we went down.
Yeah, I think there'll be I think the whole squad would be changed a lot because we've got a lot of guys on loan at the moment. If we went down, I think some of our better players would be cherry picked, like you said. All the loan players would go back, and we'd have to have a big turnover of playing staff. So Falco, I think, would be one that would probably get attention from anybody in the league now. Would take Falco, I believe, and the teams, if we do go down that come up, would look at Falco and perhaps try and tempt him away. But he'd be one. Hopefully, we could raise some funds if we did sell him. And I know that when he came to London that time, one of the guys said that one of the things that Lecce as a club really enjoy is seeing one of the local talents who's come through the system, who are from Lecce, get a big move. To have a fan favourite to go on to a bigger team, that's seen as like a positive. Whereas in England, we're just, no, we have to keep our players, and if you leave, you're a traitor. Yeah. In Lecce, it's seen as, one of our own has gone to, Milan or Lazio or Rome or whatever, and that would be seen as a positive. So there's one of the contrasts we've seen for sure. And if Falco ends up going for 10, 15 million, it's money in the bank for us. And then if he goes and has a good career elsewhere, you'd always have a soft spot. We saw it when Luis Muriel scored at Lecce and made it 7-2. We were getting hammered in that game. Muriel scored, and the Villa del Mare stood up and clapped for him because he spent a couple of seasons at us. So we don't forget our own. But I think Falco would be one that would be. Yeah, I think he would stay in the league for sure.
Hey, don't worry about that hammering, because everyone gets hammered by Atalanta. We lost 5 games for them. So.
Yeah, we took it on the chin from them too. We'll probably take it on the chin from them.
We had the audacity to be. We were 2-0 down yet again early on. We seem to always give a team a head start.
Yeah.
And against Atalanta, we were 2-0 down. We had the audacity to get it back to 2-2 at half time, and we were thinking, wow, this could be one of the standout results. And then we lost the second half 5-0. So yeah.
What is it about, and Rich, I'll let you go next, but just let's come back to that. I mean, and we talked about it. He conceded 76 goals, conceding the most shots in the league, and where are the issues? Is it Liverani's tactics? Are the center backs and the defenders, are they just not Serie A quality? Is it a combination of those things? Just what would you pinpoint as a supporter? Because you watch them week in and week out. We're watching the goals happen, and we're watching the chances happen. We get a little bit of an idea, but where are the issues that you see with some of the frailties that they've had this season?
I think it's interesting about the kind of Liverani tactics. Like we seem like he wants to play the ball out, and he wants to play that kind of attractive football that's on the floor and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the personnel that he has at the back, especially, just don't seem comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, I like Luciano, his experience, and things like that. But he looks like a player to me that is a Serie A B player. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's suited for Serie A. And you're looking at him to kind of be the organizer back there. He's sorting things out. He looks really, really out of his depth sometimes.
He looks uncomfortable.
He really does, and especially when he's been asked to play with that ball. And I kind of look to those, and especially games where we're playing against teams that I remember playing against Atalanta away, and we just literally passed the ball to them. It was like, come on, and it's like today, the first goal we conceded, it's kind of a blind pass played out, and then 1-2 here with Genoa, and then all of a sudden the ball's in the back of the net, and you just kind of think. I think it's a combination of things, but I think what I do like is that Liverani's kept to his tactics. And he's changed it up sometimes. Like when we played Inter at home, went to 3 at the back, and then he's played it around a bit, but he still keeps to that. And I think what I like about Lecce is that the players still believe in him, and they kind of sometimes it looks like like the Fiorentina game, it was kind of the players let him down that day.
Yeah,
it wasn't kind of he'd got the tactics wrong and he'd set up wrong. It's just the players, and I think that's been the case sometimes this season. They just, especially, like we were saying before, you were saying we didn't address in January the defence that well, did we?
I think that's the most frustrating thing. Although obviously we're punching above our weight to be where we are. We've done 2 consecutive promotions, and we've still got the resemblance of a Serie C squad.
Okay.
So to be punching above our weight, and to have 4 games left, and for still 2 being with a shout, we'd have taken at the start of the season. But what we were saying before, at January, at the halfway stage, we had outscored the whole of the bottom half of the table, but we'd conceded the most out of everybody. Mm-hmm. And we bought attacking players in January. We bought Barak and Saponara, for example, and we didn't address the defence, and then we got Paz from I think Bologna, but I mean, he's not going to shore up a defence that's conceding, like you said, 20, 30 shots a game.
Yeah.
I think Donati's a very, very good right back, but he was a free transfer that we got towards the middle of the season, so he wasn't up to game speed. It's not easy being a Lecce fan. I think we've kept 3 clean sheets all season. Gabriel does his best, but we've just got some players that are being asked to do things that I don't think they're capable of doing.
I think that's one of the things that people admire so much about Lecce, especially neutral fans, is that most teams when they get promoted to Serie A, they get in this defensive shell, and they just try to play 11 behind the ball and try to squeak it through Serie A. Lecce is like, nah, we're just gonna play our game, play attacking, attractive football, and see what happens. And I think that's what attracts a lot of the neutral fans, because they're like, obviously the kids and the home crowd helps too, but watching a team that actually looks like they're trying out there, and instead of trying to play Mourinho style football, it's appealing to watch. I know that, and kind of going back to this, to the Falco. Why is it? Because every game that we cover Lecce quite a lot, and every time Lecce does well, it seems to be Falco is the one pressing the ball around, spreading the ball around, and so you're saying he's only getting the ball or getting in the game like 40% of the time. Why is it? Is this Livrani's not liking him, or what's the reason there?
No, I think Falco, he's just had lots of little niggly injuries. He was out for a couple of weeks at the start of the season before the Christmas, where we were just getting a few run of games. I remember we beat Spau away, and we got a couple of other good results at home, picking up points, and Falco was instrumental in that. He got an injury, he came back, he picked up another one where he plays a half here and there. If he was fit, Livrani would play him 100%. He's okay. Like you said, he's one of the standout players. It's not because he's not being favoured. Yeah, no, he if we had 11 Falcos, we'd be maybe up around near Atalanta because he's outstanding.
Right.
I also think a lot of the problems. Sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
The attack is toothless at times. I know he does get a goal now and then, but I think Babacar was make or break. We were either going to sink or swim with him. He's got a couple of goals, but he doesn't provide the attacking threat that we need. He's a big man, but he seems to be on the ground way too much for a big, strong centre forward. Yeah. And he doesn't provide the same. Well, sorry, he started the game today, came off injured. Lapadula comes on after missing the last few weeks and instantly looks a huge improvement.
Yeah. I mean, Lapadula's a smaller guy and he's winning more headers than Babacar. And it's taken Babacar till that Lecce game a couple of weeks ago. That's his first goal he scored from inside the box and a header. And we said it all season, you've got players like Balco, if he's crossing a ball into you, I mean, that's a striker's dream.
Absolutely.
Because, he's crossing balls in or he's on the edge of the box and it's just, like we took a chance on him and then but sometimes I feel like, maybe we should have quit Numancia and kind of gone with him and maybe that because he was our top scorer last season in Serie B. But we obviously thought, Babacar's maybe a big kind of name for a team like us. And we put a chance on him, and I just don't think it's worked. Whereas Lapadula, we've missed him greatly these last few weeks.
We've got some freak results this year, and when we went to Napoli and won 3-2, we were actually a lot more comfortable than the scoreline suggests. But of course, our defence helped them score a couple. But Lapadula got 2 that day, and I just think back to games like that, and if that had been Babacar, I just don't think we would have put those chances away. He just he gives you like we said before, he gives you a knockout punch. An option for Lapadula. Yeah. If he can stay fit for the last 4 games and he can score maybe 3 or 4 goals, if they could be winners, that would be great. But yeah, I with Saponara and Barak, Mancoso and Falco, if they haven't got somebody further forward to hold the ball up or to be a target man or to be a focal point for them to run off, they can be dealt with by the opposition. I think that's what we've been found out a little bit this year.
Yeah, I mean, Babacar really disappointed me in the Fiorentina game. In particular, I thought, hey, a former team he's playing against, something, you usually see that kind of narrative and you'd think, okay, hey, he'll be inspired to play and that sort of thing. And it's just like you get next to nothing out of him. Where Lapadula is just he's played for everybody. I mean, we as Milan fans, he's adored. He's adored by the Milan fan base because, is he Ibrahimovic or is he Rebic or any of these guys or Piontek or no, but fans love guys who are gonna get dirty and play for the shirt. Yep. And wherever Lapadula's gone, he's played for the shirt. Do these tactics, and so it just goes without saying, these tactics make more sense having a guy like Lapadula who has some hold-up ability to him, like you guys are saying, but also he can move around a little bit. Yeah. He can stretch things. It's almost like it feels like that modern tactics are going that direction. You need a 9 that can move. Yeah. Where the big targets like a Babacar, a Milik, guys like that are maybe a little bit too predictable. There's merit to some other guys like an Ibrahimovic who, I think the mere presence gives freedom to everybody around him to play. Where you've got Babacar who stays in one spot, doesn't move a whole lot, okay, that makes it very difficult for everybody else around him. Where you got Lapadula doing what he's doing, it's a lot freer for the guys behind him, for Saponara to get creative. For Farias had a really nice game today. Yeah. So for those guys to be able to do some things and generate some stuff, and it makes it a little bit more unpredictable to deal with.
Yeah, I think Babacar's too easy to mark at times. I was saying to Tom during the game, a lot of the time I see Babacar and he's sitting on the floor, or he's whining, or he's feeling sorry for himself.
Yeah.
I think you're a big, strong, you're a big boy. You shouldn't be always playing the baby. You'd like stop, just get up, be tough. If someone throws you on the ground, throw that centre back on the ground the next time. He's always complaining and whinging. But Lapadula, like we were saying today, I think you said he's got like that South American grit, that spirit where he'll fight people bigger than him and he'll hustle. Babacar always seems like he just seems a bit of a crybaby, and that's really worked for us.
And I think like today was a good example of like both strikers, because like when Babacar was on, the Genoa defence were they're allowing him the ball because he wasn't holding it up well. He had a poor touch, and so it was very comfortable for the Genoa defenders. But as soon as he went off, Lapadula, now his movement just had the defenders moving all over the place. And as soon as he was coming, Saponara could play balls in behind the defence, and it just changed everything for us. And I think, that's the sad thing about Babacar, like you're saying. I think, you kind of think of him as a target man, and I think he'd be better in the sense of maybe when you're chucking everything forward to try and get an equaliser or something late for the last 10 minutes to change things up. But having to start him on so many occasions and he just hasn't performed, and that's your guy who's leading your attack. Straight into
he's been out. I think he's either level on goals or he's been outscored by Lucioni. And, that's like you said, a Vinnie Jones lookalike, who's probably a Serie B standard defender.
Says the Tom Hardy lookalike, right?
Didn't we say that? We said that about.
Me up, thank you.
We did say that. We did say Frank.
We did say that about Lucioni a couple of weeks ago. I said the man looks like Vinnie Jones.
Yeah. That's so funny. Went off the rails with that. But going with the point with the big forwards that move around, kind of like a Lapadula. We've seen with Cornelius. We've seen with Kevin Lasagna, guys like that who can not only hold up the ball, but like be mobile enough and get on the outside to let the attacking midfielders get in there. Speaking of Lasagna, looking at the stretch you guys have coming up, you have Brescia, you have Bologna, and Udinese to end the season. And Parma as well, because it's a makeup game. What are your reasonable expectations with those games, or what are you looking for? I mean, obviously you want to stay up, but I mean, what are you looking for outside of that? Obviously maybe Lapadula starting more, or what are you looking for these next 4 games or whatever it is remaining?
Well, we were saying we need 3 wins really.
Right.
The 4 points are looking big now. 4 points behind Genoa. They play. I think they've got the harder run of games. They play Sampdoria, I think, next. Sampdoria are going to want to win that. They're safe, I think.
Yes.
They're going to want to win that for bragging rights anyway. They've got Inter to still come, and Inter, I don't think have been as bad as people think they have since the restart. And I think they've also got Verona.
And Sassuolo, both.
And Sassuolo, and you could see them not winning any of those. And if we suddenly could nick a result, we have to beat Brescia. If we don't beat Brescia, we're in Serie B, and we'll just listen to you. Won't be part of your Serie A sit down anymore, because if we don't beat Brescia, we're goners. But if we can get a win there, Sampdoria do us a favour. It's back to 1 point, and then it's a shootout for the last 3 games. I just want to see us be competitive. To be honest, Richard, it's a great question, and we've said, the amount of games we've started, and we're 1-0 down after 5 minutes because one of our defenders has passed an attacker a ball. We saw it in the Fiorentina game, riskily, from a throw on just inside our own half. Inexplicably passed it to an attacker, bang, 1-0 down. And then for a team like Lecce, you can't afford to give teams like this a step up. We're already at a massive disadvantage. So I just want to see us be a little bit more defensively switched on, because, like we said, Gabriel's the most tested keeper in the league. And we always seem to concede the same goal. If you get beat by a team because they've scored an amazing goal, if Atalanta score 7 goals, but all 7 are brilliant goals or individual goals, you hold your hands up. When you're giving teams a head start, that's what's so frustrating. But I just want us to be. I just think we need to be competitive in these last few games.
Yeah, and we've always said from this season, as long as we're in it to the end, we'd rather be in this position, obviously, than Spal or Brescia. And, you look at Brescia, they won Serie B last season, where they are. And I think I think if we're just still in that fight, and if we go into that Parma game with even just a sniff of a chance of staying up, it's better than, you know, just kind of giving up and just saying, all right, that's it. We've lost today, which I think was a 6-pointer. And when Genoa scored that second goal, I mean, it's the flukiest goal ever, but every single player celebrated that goal. The whole bench came on the pitch.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, big time.
So Wednesday, like Will said, I kind of think if we lose that, we have, you know, if we don't beat Brescia, I think we're looking at, you know, next season we're in Serie B, because that has to be a win. And like you said, like Sampdoria do us a favour, and then maybe they lose to Inter, you know, and we pick up something at Bologna. All of a sudden, it's kind of in our hands, maybe. But
I'd rather have our fixtures than theirs. The 4 points do look big though. It's a sad gap at the moment for sure.
I mean, well, the 4 remaining games that you have, you've got 4 teams that, I mean, we'll see how Brescia comes out, but they've been defensively that you can get at them. Yeah. You know, if you win that, you've got 3 teams that are, you know, doing, as we say, they've already hit the beach, all 3 of them. You know, if you watch how they play. So you guys have something to play for and they don't, and that counts for something when you get to this stage of the season. So, you know, so and you know, to that point, Genoa's got a much trickier run in. You know, all of those teams are, you know, in good form. And Hellas Verona, I thought Atalanta was going to walk right through Hellas Verona yesterday, and Hellas Verona gave them a game. Yeah. So you know,
they came up through the playoffs. It was been one of the standout. Obviously, they're not the most attractive team to watch, but they've been one of the standout teams this year in terms of
stingy defense.
Yeah, but they're terrible to watch. I think they'll get a goal and they'll frustrate you and get a set piece. For the purist, I'd rather be playing good football, but I'd rather be in Serie A. But yeah, Verona have been absolutely phenomenal. They've really gone under the radar and been unappreciated, I think.
Sure, no doubt about it. Let's get to, well, obviously, you know, with COVID, there are no spectators, but you know, one of the things that I'm always astonished by, and Richard is as well, is the fan base at the Via del Mare. And Lecce their average home attendance this season was 8th out of the 20 teams prior to going to no fans, 23,458, and it's consistent. It's not like they just completely overpacked the stadium for Juve or for Milan or any of that. Their lowest attended game was just over 21,000. Their highest attended game is 26,591. So you have a consistent, loyal fan base and following. You know, it's one of those that it's, you know, I'm trying to get my head around how that's so. I mean, not because, you know, they're a Serie A team. Is it the region? You know, and don't take my question the wrong way. You know, is there nothing else to do? Because I mean, I live in Wisconsin, which the whole state's a suburb of Chicago. And 2 hours north of us is a town called Green Bay, where the Green Bay Packers play. And I can promise you that is the only thing to do up there, or just about. So that team is in their worst years. That stadium is sold out. Yeah. So I'm curious. It has me curious to, you know, how this has come about and how Lecce has such a strong fan base and such a strong attendance at their home games.
And you both have been there, right? Or just you, Will? Both?
No, but yeah, Dom came as well.
Right, so you guys have first-hand experience of why the fans go there.
Well, I mean, it was like you said, it's been nearly a decade and a half in the making for myself, having seen the stadium on Football Manager and FIFA and all these other things, and then when we stepped off the bus and saw it in real life, it was amazing to see. But like you said, the fans are just fanatical. There's not a lot to do in Lecce. It's a small city. It's a one club city, though, and that obviously counts for a lot, because if you like football and you're from Lecce or the surrounding region, you're certainly not going to go to Bari or any of these other horrendous clubs like this. And yeah, the stadium is capped as well. It holds over 30,000, and it's capped. So if they were to sell it at capacity, I have no doubt it would be full every single home game. And like you said, when we went to the Spal game, it was an important game, but it wasn't against a glamorous team, and it was really, really busy, and it was just a cauldron of noise and excitement. Yeah, I mean, Salento as a place is beautiful. If you want to go to a nice little untouched area of Italy, Salento is overlooked. It's an amazing place. So you could be by the beach, but there's not a lot else to do.
And I think as well though, like with Lecce, I think as a people they are so welcoming and warm.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we went to the Milan game at the San Siro, and Will was up in the away end. I was actually in the Milan end. Unfortunately, Milan weren't singing that day on protest, so I was a bit disappointed coming all this way and not having them sing. But I mean, you met someone in front of you, and then this person, you know, he went to the Lecce game. You know, he could barely speak English, but him and his partner and, you know, all these other friends took me and Will out for dinner after the Lecce game. Yeah. We didn't pay for anything. You know, they took us around the town, and I think that's kind of built into the club as well as a whole.
That's good.
Like, the club is a very kind of family orientated. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's about a welcoming club. And I mean, even after the game, someone got us in to meet the players.
Yeah, we were very lucky. We've been treated so well. I mean, I think there's an expectation of from English perhaps fans thinking about the continent, the football that's played there, and you do see the bad side of Italian football at times with, you know, unsavory fans, actions and chants and things like that. But you don't obviously see the side that we've seen from a small southern team like Lecce. And we thought, part of us was thinking, are we going to be accepted? We don't speak Italian. We stick out like a sore thumb. We clearly don't look Italian, covered in tattoos. You know, we thought oh, maybe they won't accept us. Maybe they'll think, what are these tourists doing here, kind of thing. But I was in the away end for the Milan game, the 2-2, which I'm sure you guys remember. It was a great point for us, but not so fine memories from you. But yeah, I met people in the away end in the San Siro that they didn't speak English. I didn't speak Italian, but somehow we stayed in contact enough via WhatsApp and Google Translate that when we went to Lecce and watched them play at home, they took us out and we spent hours and hours drinking and eating with them, barely being able to converse a word to each other. But they treated us as if we was old friends. It was incredible. And I think that's ingrained within the club. And like Dom said, we've had some tough times as well. Obviously, we went down to Serie C through mismanagement and things like that. So we've had some tough times. So I think we're a close knit fan base and a club that looks after their own. Hence why if Falco and these homegrown players do move on, they go with our best wishes. So look, whatever happens, we will have a club, because I think we have a productive chairman, a progressive chairman. We don't have any debts, which is why annoyingly we would like to have probably overspent in January and bought in some extra players. But if it didn't work out and we'd forked out 10 million euros on players, then you're taking that to Serie B, and we know that we'll have a club, and we know that we'll always sell out. So as long as the club is there, Lecce will always be well followed. And it's not just the home games. Like we said, when we went to Milan, it was over 3,000 away fans out singing the San Siro. Of course, they were on mute that day, but we still outsang them nonetheless, and we'll take that as a win. So yeah, we've been really lucky.
Good. And just a quick follow up to that. And we talked about this before we started recording, gentlemen. I mean, the Via del Mare, you guys you took points from Juventus there. You took points from Inter there. You took points from Sassuolo there. We talked about this before we started recording. You know, since the return with no fans, it's very, very easy to say that you guys are probably one of three teams. I think that's one of three places for sure. One of the top three places, maybe the place that is suffering the most from not having that fan atmosphere there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think you look at that game, that Sampdoria game that we lost, the 2-1, and that was, at the time, it was a very important game. They were close to that bottom three. And I do think that if you had the fans there and you had that kind of atmosphere, it might have been a different game. And I think the players enjoy playing at home. You know, the kind of the ultras end, you know, it's constant throughout the game. It's just constant. It's nice, and I think another thing that I've kind of found as well, I mean, Will, you know, you follow it more on Instagram and places like this, but they can be so positive, Lecce fans. You know, we both, you know, here support Arsenal as, you know, as our kind of English team. And you can be so negative, you know, you're so critical of players, you know, they have one bad game and you say get rid of them and get them out. And I found that, you know, Lecce just have such a positive mindset with the players. And I think the players feel that, and they feel that they're wanted there. And I do think the kind of empty stadium, especially for, you know, important games that we've had of these last couple of weeks, is affecting the players. And I think even away, because of that big people that come, it's, you know, it's kind of, it helps, you know. I mean, like I said, when we went to the San Siro and I saw those Lecce fans down the other end, you know, it's kind of when that equalizer went in to make it 2-2, like the sound that came from there was just, you know, it was deafening. And you just think, you see like a game today, you know, you kind of, maybe that would have had an effect as well, like if we had. But I think you know, if we had the fans there, then maybe one or two results that we've had at home this time maybe would have been different. But
sure,
we'll see.
Sure.
That's you know, the one thing we all four have in common is we all been to San Siro. So hey, there's that, right? Yeah. This is brilliant, guys. What one last? I mean, I guess one last thing you want to say to people listening about, you know, about you guys, you know, not only being Londoners and supporting Lecce, but just being Lecce fans in general. Anything?
I just think we've had an amazing experience this year. If it only stays in Serie for 1 year, that we've had some great memories. The people that we've met have been people that we will stay in contact with, lifelong friends, and we've had some fun along the way. We've been fun to play against at times for the opposition strikers, but we've had some good results. We've had some good memories. We've won away in Fiorentina. We've won away in Naples. We've got good results against other big teams, like you've said, Milan, Inter, Juve, to mention a couple. And whatever happens, we'll always have a Lecce fan base here in London. Whether that many people in Lecce are aware of how much they're loved here, I don't actually know. I couldn't tell them anyway, even if they could hear me. But yeah, we're very lucky. We're very blessed, obviously, to be on your show as well. We've been in contact throughout the season, and yeah, we've had a blast. So whatever happens, we've given a good account of ourselves. The Instagram started off as a bit of a mess around, really. I was we treated it as just making silly posts. We don't use Photoshop or anything. We just create things on our phones, and just made the right post at the right time. And all of a sudden, you're at 5,000 followers, and we're like, oh no, we feel like we have responsibility now. When it started off as a bit of a joke around, but we'll stay with the team no matter what, no matter where we end up, and we'll always carry on listening to you guys, even if we're not in the league. Don't worry.
We appreciate that.
We do appreciate it.
Favorite player that you've watched wearing those colors?
Oh, see, I would go back to the days when I was a teenager.
5 years ago. It's a lot longer for me. It's a lot longer for me.
My favorite player in this color, I'd have to say Chef Anton.
Okay.
Vucinic and Bojinov, these people pushing close. Giacomazzi maybe. But I say Chef Anton because when I first started following the club was when he was the main man and he was getting goals, and he then went on to places like, I think he went to Monaco and Sevilla. So yeah, I say Chef Anton. He's my one.
Yep. Former Uruguayan player.
So. Oh, Quadrado, yeah.
Quadrado. Sorry, yeah. I don't know, he just left my mind. I just love that guy. And I mean, I look at him now and I just think of, you know, what a player he is. And just to see when he was at Lecce as well, He's definitely my favourite player. And it's a shame he didn't work out at Chelsea here in England, but you look at him at Juve and even at the World Cups he's played at for Colombia. I just think it's great to see that he was once in these famous colours, you know. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I remember seeing pictures of him there, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't know he played. I didn't know he played Lecce, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's.
We've had a few players down the years that have gone on and stayed in the league. Like we said, Luis Muriel, example.
Yeah.
Vucinic went on to do good things. Bojinov spent a little bit of time at Man City. So yeah, we've had some good players down the years. Antonio Conte as well. He's not held in that high regard in Lecce anymore.
I've heard.
Yeah, having been the Bari manager as well, that's the ultimate sin. Yeah. We've erased that from our memory, so he doesn't ever get good reception in Lecce. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've got bad memories of Vucinic in those Lecce colors. He beat Milan back in 2006.
Yeah.
So, oh my! But yeah, Cheventon's a great shout. Well over 100 appearances, I think, on three. He was there 3 separate times, I think.
Yeah, He came back and tried to help us out at situations where we could try to get him on loan, and he probably one of those players who paid for free.
Okay.
I think he still resides in Lecce as well. Obviously, being Uruguayan, he came home and had a nice, easy life in Uruguay. But I think he still lives in the city and makes sort of appearances and things. So. Yeah, once you're like we've proven, once you're in Lecce, you're in for life. It's like the mafia. So,
yep. Nice. Well, good for him, and good for you guys, and definitely appreciate you taking some time to sit down and talk with us about a club that we certainly do the best we can to try to make sense of and give attention to. We've got 20 teams we've tried to we have to try to knock out week in, week out, and being Milan supporters by habit, we're veering more towards covering them, but it was a real treat to learn a little bit more about the club, get kind of in your mind a little bit as far as being a supporter, being a Lecce supporter, seeing what the highs and the lows that go with that, and I can't thank you guys enough for the time today.
No, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure coming on. So thank you for your hospitality, and we're keen listeners. So we'll continue listening to you guys at all times. Yeah.
We appreciate it, and we're going to give you this moment now. The floor is yours. Plug anything that you want for our listeners.
Okay, so yeah, all this has come about just through our Instagram page, which is official UK Lecce. Where we post as often as we can as original and sometimes controversial stuff. We've upset a few fan bases along the way because the English mentality of disrespecting other clubs, I didn't realise didn't translate into Italian as well. So when we make out other teams and their misfortune, we've been told under no illusions to get back in line, kind of thing. So yeah, we try and tone it down, but yeah, we're at official UK Lecce, and give us a follow. We try and be as active as possible. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
We'll have this broadcast on the YouTube channel, and then also we will have this as I believe as part of this week's Serie podcast, or we may make the decision that we just have this as a separate for folks to tune into. So I leave those decisions up to Richard.
Yeah, we'll figure something out, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast. And like we said, we've been talking all season long, trying to get this done, and we did. So we're happy about that. So yeah, we'll stay in touch for sure. Hopefully you guys stay in Serie A, but if not, we'll stay in touch regardless. So
for sure. Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Ciao.
That was Will and Dom from the UK Lecce club. Very gracious of them to take the time to talk to us and take a deep dive on what's going on at US Lecce. So we thank you for taking the time to tune into this, and follow us always on Twitter or Instagram at Serie A Sitdown. Check this out on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Gosh, anywhere there's a podcast.
You name it, we're there.
Yep, you name it, we're there. So for Richard, I'm Frank. Thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Serie A Sit Down as we take a deep dive into US Lecce. And as always, tell your paisans about us. Ciao.